Okay, let's talk deeper about the biographical characteristic. As I mentioned earlier, the surface level is still important to managing people, right? So, for example, the age, gender, race, ethnicity, or disability, okay, or job tenure. This variation define the different among person, and you need to understand the deeper insight about it to manage your team well. Okay, and this slide will show you about the 7 aspects that we will talk today. Okay, let's start talk about the age, the first aspect about the individual differences. Do you think that does age affect the job performance in, in your team or in the company? I think I think the executive may think that the older worker can work in the lower performance compared to the younger one, right? But let's see the research result. I have 3 major concerns about about the aging workforce. First, do age diminish productivity and other aspects? Second is the opportunity of the aging workforce, and the third one is let's talk about the laws about the hiring the aging labor. Okay. So the first question is, do age diminish productivity and other aspect? The answer is, yeah, we have yes and no. Okay, as you can see that I mentioned earlier that the executives always think that the older worker have high salary and they may work in the lower performance, right? But if you think in another way, you can see that the older worker has a higher experience, so they have a good judgment in the job, and they also have a strong work ethic, and they usually have the commitment to the quality of the job, right? It's easy to compare about the younger and the older. I think this aspect makes sense because the older worker work for a long time, they have high experience, and of course they can they can they can they can work in the task that assigned it to them very well. But of course, in another way, the age does diminish the productivity because the older people they have a lower energy, right? They may have their some disease or some symptom that they have to take care of, and of course they might lack of the flexibility. It does like the younger people, right? Because they love to do something at one time, they don't want to change it. They want something stable, right? And they may resisting to the new technology. In many firms, we may use the social media or use the computer in the company or many new gadgets. But the older people may get struggle in it because they don't feel like don't feel free to use that things, right? And of course, they resist to change. When the new policy come out, they might uh, they might don't want to do as the policy provide, but they want to do it like that, like they want to because maybe their age or they don't think that that is the good way. They have their own opinion, right? Okay, so the age and the productivity, I think they have both sides. So in the context of the team, I think you may assign your older worker to work in the way that they can do it very well. Okay, just such as you assign the task to them, uh, or the task that they can do it very well, the task that don't need the manpower or something. Okay, I think they can do it very well. Okay, and another aspect about age is about the turnover. Okay, the research show that the older you get, the less likely you quit. Okay, if you hire the older people, you may not have the problems about the turnover in that positions. This is makes sense because I think if you are older, is you have a less chance to get a new job, right? And how about the absenteeism? Okay, somebody might think that the older worker may not don't want to absent from the work, right? But the answer is we have two types of absenteeism in the older worker. The first one is if the older worker encounter avoidable absence, such as if they have a low-grade fever or they have a small injury, the older workers still want to go to work. So this is not a problem about the older worker. But in the opposite way, if the older worker face unavoidable absence, such as their broken arms or they have their disease that they have to go to see the doctor, so they have to leave, they have to absent from the work because they cannot avoid it. So this is a two type of absenteeisms of from the older worker. And the last aspect about the age is about the age and job performance. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the older worker has have a good judgment because they have a higher experience than the younger one. But in the job performance, the older worker perform the higher performance than the younger worker. But it's only in some roles in the company. Of course, if you send the older worker to another site or the suburban area, I think it's not make sense to them because their physical is not like the younger labor, right? But if you put them into the right job that they can use their experience or their judgment, I think they can perform in the higher performance than the younger one. And how about the age and job satisfaction? Okay, we divide it into two categories. The first one is if the older worker work in the professional career. The professional career which means that the career has some license or is the career that no one cannot replace that worker. For example, the doctor or the lawyer or the nurse, or something that you have to have a license to work in this career. So if the older worker work as a professional career, so the older you are, the more the satisfaction you have. But if they work in a non-profession career or the career that don't need any license, anyone can do it, right? The satisfaction will fall during the middle age, okay? Because they may think that their friends who work in the professional career, they have a brighter future. They have a longer future than them, right? But if they can pass in the middle age of their career, so the satisfaction will rise again in the year after. So it's like a U curve, as you can see in the screen. Okay, so the older worker both have their satisfaction in that job, but only the non-professional that you have to, the organization or the team have to take a good care of them in the middle age of their career. So this is the first aspect about the age in the individual differences. Okay, the first aspect shows us that if you understand the pros and cons in each aspect, so you can manage well to work with the people in the team.